You want to say anything to anybody?
Hello.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm not in Australia, but it doesn't look like people in Australia are in the street saying no.
No, and you know, the Aussies, man, I had a lot of respect for them for so long and stuff like that, but now I'm just shaking my head. It's like, guys,
They're the Petri dish, man.
yeah, what is going on over there? I mean, you really literally have officials over there, starting with the prime minister or whatever the hell he is, right on down through the local police. I mean, it's freaking goon squad central. It's like you got to have permission there, literally, to walk out the door, or they'll bust you in the face. You know, and we've seen videos of Aussie cops busting through the door on people. You know, literally.
Well, my point is why wouldn't that come to this country?
Yeah, no, I know where you're going with it exactly. Yeah. So Australia is a sovereign, supposedly independent, and supposedly, you know, free or democratic nation, supposedly, right? But it doesn't seem like that right now. I just see friggin' Nazi crackdown. That's what I see. And to my friend's point here, if we're so arrogant and ignorant to think that it could never happen here, then we're fools, in my opinion. The founding fathers warned us of this stuff. They warned us to be constantly diligent about this stuff because they saw it firsthand in Europe and stuff, time and time and time and time again. That's why the Constitution, as imperfect as it is written by man, was written the way it was, to try to forego these things.
The rules are for thee, not for me.
Yeah, so now you've got documents that totally contradict it in it, right? You've got the FISA, you've got the Patriot Act, etc., on and on and on, and God knows what else. Not to mention the agencies and whatnot. You know, God knows what they're doing. So
what are people going to do at this point? I mean, there's the rub, right?
That's huge.
If you were on the Titanic,
it's a huge question. Yeah, it's a huge question. I mean,
can't swim.
Well, you keep saying Titanic, so let's say it is the Titanic,
yep.
and it is going down, as you say, to use the analogy. Let's say 100% spot on. Well, then you have no choice, right? Then you got to look for a lifeboat. Now, if on the other hand you're not right, and that there is, recourse in which to save it, so to speak, well then you need massive due diligence and, organization and basically
pain.
Well, and the citizens willing to get off their ass and take
sacrifice, pain. It means your standard of living drops like in half immediately.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Well, what determines our standard of living? I mean, there's so many things linked. Our currency has been artificially inflated since World War II. We have lived on the credit card. Literally, we've lived off the blood of other people since World War II, because that's how we got all our gold. Is we sold shit to everybody else so they could kill each other.
Yeah, we were a surplus nation for 30 years or something, 45 to 75 or something like that, or almost 80. Where we
were literally the one-eyed man in the world of the blind.
We were, but we were surplus, right? People, we were loaning to people. It was the other way around. Now, since the 80s, we've gone the complete opposite way, right? We're totally in debt. We're in hock. I mean, if this was translated to a personal example,
my point is,
we'd be chapter 13, 11, and whatever the other ones.
Anybody who travels outside the United States knows this, if they're honest. Okay, there's nothing exceptional about the people of the United States compared to the rest of the world.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
Okay, and if you disagree, then please let me know how.
Well, there's going to be people that disagree. I can tell you right now.
Well, let me finish the thought. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the bottom line is, if business is warfare or a race, you're competing against everybody in the world now. How are you going to compete against the people in another country who will work for less, who have probably better education than you now, or at least are trained to do the same thing you can do? They can speak multiple languages. You can't. Their math is probably better. They actually show up on time. They'll work extra hours for free.
Yeah.
So why is anybody going to choose? Who's going to look at the United States and say, this is where I want to go?
Well,
taking away, those countries who have political and religious persecution. Okay. So what has happened is so if you and I, Dan, if you're better than me and I can't defeat you, then I have to cheat to win, or I have to get lucky. But over the longer period of time, I'm not going to be able to keep up with you, right? I might get a win here or there because you're tired that day. So the United States had all that gold and that advantage because the rest of the world was literally destroyed.
Absolutely.
So what did we do with that advantage? We squandered it away. We built up our military and industrial complex. We fought all these useless wars. We put bases around the world. And then come 1971 or 72, whatever it was, Nixon's like, we're going off the gold standard because we're out of money.
Yeah. Dickie took us off this. Yeah, it's a good point. And then the Cold War was going on as well. Huge.
So from there, the divide the union has started decreasing, which correspondingly ties to wages in our country staying pretty flat or going down.
Since the 70s, basically. Right. But yet the cost of living's not stopped.
Yeah, and also the divide between the classes in the wealth gaps have gotten wider in our country.
100%.
We're becoming like South Africa, where the elite are going to be living in
Compounds.
away from us. Or it will be like Elysium, where they truly are in their compounds, up in the clouds.
Yeah.
Away from us,
100%.
plebes.
100% see that coming at this rate.
So
We're on that
the
trajectory.
600-pound fat guy, I'm sorry to say, he didn't do anything to rectify this when he was 400 pounds or 300 pounds or 500 pounds.
Right.
Now he's 600.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're 600 pounds. Either you take action or you're going to die. Those are your choices. But I don't want to be 600 pounds. Please give me a pill.
We're getting closer and closer to that intersection that you're describing. We are. And
Well,
it feels like it's starting to get dangerously close.
Well, those people you'd mentioned, the 15 to 45s, they are completely fried because they know that the American dream and all this bullshit that George Carlin says, is a lie. They realize that. And so are you getting on a treadmill to go nowhere?
Well, nobody wants to, but at the end of the day, it does come down to the most rudimentary basics, which is you got to have a roof, you got to have a shirt, and you got to have some food. So
that's what
there is no
on.
choice. I mean, a lot of people know that they're running on a treadmill or the rat wheel or whatever. I think a lot of people know that, but it's like, what's the alternative? What's the solution? What can I do? Except bust my ass to pay the rent.
Well,
I don't want to be sleeping outside.
All those people who went to Iraq and Afghanistan and either died there or came home and killed themselves, or they're dealing with mental and physical injuries as a result, and they'll never be the same. Was it worth it?
Well, I guess the question I would have is, we were there 20 years. I mean, what was the overall mission? I wonder if the generals can answer that, with all due respect.
I asked a yes or no question.
I would say no, clearly no, because again, I'm getting at, we were there 20 years.
So is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth it to fight China or a proxy war again in some foreign land where we send people to die again? So we can funnel money to cruise missiles? I
guess if it keeps our standard of living in gasoline per gallon in a certain amount, in electricity and everything else.
Live long and prosper.